Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here, and today we're answering your questions. Today's question comes from Instagram. It comes from Geeman McKinney. I'm horrible pronouncing names. Sorry about that. Gimmon? We'll go with that. Thank you so much for your question. What is the biggest regret you have in your career as a baseball player? So I get this question a lot. And, I usually say, man, I don't have a whole lot of regrets. I worked really hard and I put everything I had into it. And I wish I played longer in the major leagues, but I didn't. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, as they say. One of my daughter's jokes, she says, why does the doctor, I don't know why I thought of this, why did the cookie have to go to the doctor? Because he felt crummy. Okay. That makes me laugh. Anyways, but I got thinking about this a lot because I get asked so much, what is a regret of mine? And this is what I came up with. And just so you know, this isn't something I sit up at night being like, oh man, I regret doing this so bad. Like, I don't do that. But if I have to think about it, what's my biggest regret? I think my biggest regret when I played was probably worrying about what other people were thinking instead of just doing what I wanted to do, just playing the game, always thinking, I want to make sure that this coach is happy. I want to make sure I don't make this coach mad or this person mad or, always thinking about that. What is this person thinking when I do this? Let me give you a couple of examples. The biggest thing, and you guys know, and I've talked about this, and hell, the Padres called in a sports psychologist to talk to me about this. Gave me a book to read on assertiveness. I always felt like I needed to listen to everybody because I didn't want to make anyone mad by telling them no. Right? So when I was hitting, especially when I started to struggle a little bit, but even before then, lots of people are always coming around trying to tell you how to fix your swing or try this or do this or, that's all you're hearing all the time. There's so many coaches in minor league baseball and in major league baseball. And for me, I don't want to make anyone mad. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. So I just listen to everybody. Anything anyone says, I try to listen to and I try to do. And so if I'm hitting in the cage and a coach comes over and I don't even know who it is. It could be some guy that just came off the street, but he's wearing a Padres jersey and he has a hat on and he says that he's Coach Jimmy. And he says, hey, Matt, why don't you try to do this? I would say, okay, Coach Jimmy, let's give it a try. And I try it. All right. And I did that with everybody because I didn't want to make anyone upset. And so I just did it. And I think that can be a problem when you start to try to swing like everyone else wants you to swing, because then you forget how you swing. And when you forget how you swing, it becomes very difficult to hit. You can't hit being someone else. Now, this is different from just being uncoachable and not listening to anyone. I'm not telling you to not listen to anyone. What I'm telling you is don't listen to everyone. And if you're you can listen to everyone, but you don't have to take what they all say and do it. All right. You can have conversation with them and you can even say, you know what? That doesn't work for me. I've tried that before and it doesn't work for me, but I appreciate the suggestion and you taking the time to give me that feedback or that suggestion or whatever it is that they give you. Okay. I did do that once and I was labeled uncoachable, but still I would do it again. Okay. Because that was actually that was one of the best years of my career when I finally told someone, I've tried that 1,000 times and it doesn't work. And I appreciate it if I could just do it the way I want to do it for right now because I just got here. If you haven't heard that story, that's a story from the Nationals. It's in other videos. I'm not going to go over it all here. But that was one big thing for me, being able to, I never really got to this point except for that one time where I could talk to coaches and feel okay not hurting their feelings. It's not going to hurt their feelings. I mean, it might, but just letting them know that I appreciate it, but I'm not going to do this at this time. Okay, that's the first thing. Other other spots in my career where I wish that I could have done that a little bit more. If I needed some extra work or early work, I'm always worried when I'm playing about making people mad or making people uncomfortable. Like if I really needed work, right? Let's say I'm struggling defensively, which I did a lot, okay? If I needed extra ground ball work, it was hard for me. I wish going back, I wish I would just gone over and said, "Hey, coach," or you would just call him, "Hey, Max," or "Hey, Jim, you mind hitting me some extra ground balls early today? Do you mind, doing a little extra work with me after the game?" Whatever it is. Being able to do that. I played with some players that were not afraid to do that. They wanted extra work, they asked for it. I played with Steve Lombardozzi, great guy, or kid. I guess he's a guy now. One of my favorite players that I played with, one of the hardest workers. And he would ask people to help him with stuff. He would ask me. I got in a routine because he came up to me and he said, "Hey," he had these little tiny training balls. And he would come up to me before a game and he said, "Hey, do you mind throwing these small little training balls like a pitcher to me so that I can work on tracking them?" And I said, "Sure, Steve, I would love to help you out." And I did that. Now, if the roles were reversed, I would have never approached someone and been, "Hey, can you throw these mini balls at me to get me prepared?" I would have been like, looking around, is anyone going to volunteer to throw me these little balls? No one's going to volunteer? Okay, I won't use them, right? But Steve didn't do that. He asked me, "Can you throw these?" And I did. And I did it before every game. We had this little routine where we go in the cage at home and I would throw these little balls at him. And all he would do is he would track the ball in. He would track, I don't know, like 8 or 10. He'd be like, "All right, I'm ready to play." Part of his routine, boom, and he'd go. And so I think that's important, but that's something I wouldn't do. I always felt bad. Oh, he's probably busy. Oh, they're probably doing this. Oh, he's. And so I didn't ask for a lot of stuff. Even if I wanted some extra BP or something, some guys just go into the coach's office. "Hey, coach," again, let's talk hitting coach. Usually you don't grab your manager, but whoever the hitting coach is, "Hey, can you throw me some extra BP? Can you give me some extra flips?" I feel very bad about that. Why? It's silly. I shouldn't. That's their job. But I didn't. I'm always thinking I don't want to upset them. I don't want to bother them. That's usually probably the bigger thing. I don't want to bother them, right? I think that a lot. Still today, I do that a lot of times. I'm like, I don't want to bother them. I'm like, no, just bother them. You're not bothering them. Just do it. All right. So I do think about that a lot. Those are big things. And the last thing when it comes to thinking what other people think is just playing the game free and not worrying about what these people are going to think, what the fans going to think, what's the coach going to think, what are your teammates going to think if I mess up on this play, right? And I think that's probably in everyone's mind, right? If I mess up, what are they going to think? If I do this, what are they going to think? As much as you can play the game free and forget about all that and just focus on the game, don't focus on the result. Just focus on one pitch at a time, playing the game, right? That's it. And whatever happens, happens. You're going to be the best possible player if you can do that. And so maybe a regret of mine is just being able to go play the game and have fun and not worried about the results and not worried about what people think. And it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. When you were in Little League, like when I was in Little League, and I know it's a different game, right? In Little League, you're going to dominate. I'm hitting 800. What do I have to worry about? I'm hitting 800. I don't ever get out, right? When you're hitting 200, it's a little bit harder to think that way. But if you think about those times where you just played, you had fun, you enjoyed yourself, you played, you didn't worry about the result, you didn't worry about people think. And, if you played bad, guess what? You were going for an ice cream sundae after the game. So it didn't matter. That was the problem. I should have ate more ice cream sundaes. So those are my regrets. Again, I'm not staying up at night, shaking in bed, worrying about them. But if I think about them, that's what I would do differently. Hopefully that helps you out. Thanks for the question. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. If you want your question answered, put it in the comment section below and I'll try to get to it. That's all we have. We'll talk to you later.